What if I told you the story of Lucifer, the fallen angel cast out of heaven, wasn't actually in the Bible? In fact, it all began with a mistranslation that changed history forever. Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating origins of Lucifer and uncovering how a planet accidentally became one of the most infamous names in religious lore. Close your eyes and imagine this: a magnificent angel, glowing with beauty and power, standing at the pinnacle of God's heavenly court. This angel, known as Lucifer, wasn't just any angel. He was the most radiant of them all, a symbol of perfection, wisdom, and light. But what happens when perfection turns to pride? As the story goes, Lucifer began to desire more power, more glory. He wasn't satisfied serving under God's rule. No, he wanted the throne for himself. And so, in a moment of defiance, he led a rebellion, a heavenly war, with countless angels by his side, all standing against the Creator. But rebellion comes at a cost. God, in his almighty power, cast Lucifer and his followers out of heaven. Stripped of their glory, they fell from the skies, tumbling into the abyss, into hell, and there they transformed. Lucifer, the shining angel of light, became the devil, the prince of darkness. His followers, once noble beings, became demons, condemned to torment for eternity. It's a tale that has inspired art, literature, and even fear for centuries. A story of pride, ambition, and an ultimate fall from grace. It's a warning of what happens when we challenge the divine. But here's the thing. What if I told you that this dramatic and haunting story isn't in the Bible? Yes, you heard me right. The Lucifer you think you know is a product of myths, mistranslations, and centuries of retelling. What's the real story behind this fallen angel? Stay with me, because the truth is far more surprising and far more fascinating. When you hear the name Lucifer, it probably conjures images of rebellion, fire, and a celestial fall from grace. It's a name loaded with centuries of meaning, one that echoes through art, literature, and faith. But what if I told you this infamous name is mentioned only once in the entire Bible? Yes, just once, and even then, it's not what you think. In the book of Isaiah, chapter 14, verse 12, we find these words: "How you are fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning, how you are cut down to the ground, you who weakened the nations." At first glance, it seems to describe the fall of an angel, a being of light cast down from heaven. But if we dig deeper, the story becomes far more complex. Isaiah wasn't talking about a fallen angel at all. He was mocking the king of Babylon. This arrogant ruler, blinded by his pride, thought he was invincible, like the morning star, Venus, shining brightly in the sky. But just as Venus appears to fall below the horizon each day, so too did the king fall from his lofty throne. The word Lucifer here, it's not a name, it's a poetic metaphor. In the original Hebrew text, the phrase Hallel ben Shachar translates to shining one, son of the morning. Early Christians, translating the Bible into Latin, rendered it as Lucifer, a Latin word meaning light bringer. And yet, from this single verse, an entire myth was born. How did a simple reference to a planet become the devil's name? The answer lies in centuries of mistranslations and reinterpretations. But we're just getting started. There's so much more to uncover. It's incredible how a single word can change the course of history. In the case of Lucifer, one mistranslation reshaped how we view the forces of good and evil. But to understand this, we need to go back to the ancient texts and the painstaking process of translating them. In the original Hebrew of Isaiah 14:12, the prophet uses the phrase Hallel ben Shachar. This poetic expression refers to the morning star, Venus, the bright light that graces the sky at dawn before seemingly falling below the horizon. It's a metaphor for the arrogant king of Babylon, whose pride led to his fall. Nothing in this text hints at the devil or fallen angels, but when the Bible was translated into Latin by early Christians, the story took a dramatic turn. The Hebrew Hallel ben Shachar became Lucifer, a Latin word meaning light bringer or morning star. At the time, It was a straightforward translation, a poetic way to describe Venus. But over centuries, as interpretations shifted and myths evolved, Lucifer was mistaken for a proper name, a name that would come to represent the devil himself. This single mistranslation opened the door to centuries of misunderstanding. What was once a metaphor for a fallen king became a myth about a fallen angel. And as time passed, the name Lucifer was woven into tales of rebellion and evil, cementing it as a symbol of darkness. Imagine that, a simple word plucked from the stars, transformed into one of the most infamous figures in human history. But this is only part of the story. To understand how Lucifer became the devil we know today, we need to explore the myths and texts that filled in the gaps left by this mistranslation. How did the morning star, a symbol of light and beauty, become a name synonymous with evil? The transformation of Lucifer into the devil is a tale woven from myths, apocryphal texts, and centuries of evolving beliefs. And it all begins with the mysterious Book of Enoch. The Book of Enoch, written between 300 and 200 BCE, was never included in the official Bible, but it captured the imagination of early Jewish and Christian communities. It tells the story of the Watchers, a group of angels sent to watch over humanity, but instead of fulfilling their divine mission, they fell victim to temptation. Led by Samyaza, their rebellious leader, the Watchers lusted after human women, descended to earth, and fathered a race of giants known as the Nephilim. These giants ravaged the earth, spreading corruption and chaos. But it didn't stop there. The Watchers also taught humanity forbidden secrets, weaponry, sorcery, and vanity. God, seeing the destruction, sent a great flood to cleanse the earth and banish the Nephilim. The Watchers were condemned, their leader punished for his betrayal. This tale of heavenly rebellion resonated deeply and began to blur with the mistranslation of Lucifer in Isaiah. Early Christians, reading Isaiah through the lens of the Book of Enoch, saw Lucifer not as a poetic metaphor, but as a fallen angel, like Samyaza. Over time, this connection grew stronger, and Lucifer became the name of the devil, a being of pride and rebellion, cast down to rule over hell. From a simple mistranslation to the blending of ancient myths, the story of Lucifer's fall is as complex as it is fascinating. But this isn't the end. There's more to uncover in his journey from light to darkness. What happens when cultures collide, when ancient myths, religious texts, and poetic metaphors intertwine? The story of Lucifer, the light bringer turned devil, isn't just about one mistranslation. It's about how myths and beliefs merged to create a figure that has haunted the human imagination for centuries. In Greco-Roman mythology, the morning star, Venus, wasn't just a planet, it was a deity. The Greeks called it Phosphoros, the light bringer, and the Romans named its son Lucifer. It was a symbol of beauty, illumination, and the dawn. To them, Venus was a god linked to the goddess Aurora, the bringer of morning. But as Christianity spread through the Roman Empire, these celestial myths began to transform. At the same time, the apocryphal Book of Enoch was shaping early Jewish and Christian thought. Its tale of rebellious angels and divine punishment added a dramatic backdrop to the name Lucifer. Suddenly, the morning star wasn't just a planet. It was a symbol of pride, rebellion, and fall from grace. As these stories blended, the poetic taunt from Isaiah, meant to mock a fallen king, took on a new life. Early Christians saw echoes of their own struggle against sin and pride in the tale of the morning star. Over time, Lucifer became more than a word. It became a name for the ultimate enemy, the devil himself. This merging of myths and beliefs created a powerful narrative. What was once a symbol of light became a warning of darkness. A mistranslated word became a myth. And through centuries of retelling, the story of Lucifer solidified, forever linking the morning star with the prince of hell. But there's still one piece left to this puzzle. What does this mean for the name Lucifer today? A single mistranslation, just one word, Lucifer, forever altered how billions of people view the forces of good and evil. But what's most fascinating isn't just how the story was born. It's how it continues to shape our world today. In modern Bible translations, Lucifer is no longer used. Isaiah 14:12 now refers to the morning star, restoring the original meaning, a poetic taunt against the fallen king of Babylon. And yet, the legacy of that mistranslation lives on. The name Lucifer has transcended its origins, becoming a symbol of rebellion, ambition, and ultimate downfall. Think about it. Lucifer is now a household name. He appears in art, literature, movies, and even music. From Milton's Paradise Lost to modern television shows, the figure of Lucifer has become a complex character, a tragic anti-hero who defies authority and pays the price. But beyond the myth lies a deeper truth. The name Lucifer reminds us of how history, language, and belief can shape our understanding of the world. A simple word, meant to describe a shining planet, became a name feared and revered across cultures. It's a testament to the power of storytelling and the human need to find meaning in the stars, in Scripture, and in ourselves. So, what does the legacy of Lucifer teach us? It's not just about the devil, it's about the stories we tell, how they evolve, and the unintended consequences of interpretation. Lucifer may have fallen, but his story has risen to legendary status, influencing our collective imagination in ways the original authors of Isaiah could never have foreseen. And that's the legacy of this mistranslation, a story written in the stars, misunderstood on earth, and carried through the ages. And there you have it, the story of how a mistranslation and centuries of reinterpretation turned a planet into a fallen angel. If you've ever questioned what's written in the stars or ancient texts, there's always more to uncover. Subscribe to learn more about the hidden stories that shaped history. See you next time.